Hey folks, welcome back to this session. Like like we had covered almost all the basic things and the base which is required to start the things. So I hope anybody have any doubt before we start the today's session because we had covered so many things, basic things. Okay, still intermediate and advanced things are still left, but we can say from this lecture, we are jumping to the intermediate things. Basics are done. Whatever the sessions we had covered, all the basic stuffs had been done. Like whatever the installation, if you say from the scratch, okay. If you talk about the directory services, external services, everything, okay. UI customization, setting up the self-service. So all those things, whatever we had learned, okay. Now it's done. Okay, it's the basic, the minimal basic, okay, is done. Now it's time to start the intermediate things. So in intermediate things, we are dealing with the real time challenges. Okay, like first of all, let's say you have to protect a website, right? So before protecting a website, minimal knowledge. I not know why people directly start learning website protection without having the proper understanding of cookies. Okay, because the access manager, let's say if you are if you are going to learn something, right? Let's say you start learning the language, let's say English or let's say Spanish. So you learn the vocabulary, right? Like you learn the basics of that language. Okay, the basics here in the access management for from now onward, there are many things like base, we can say this base is cookies. If you understand the cookies, you know the power of the cookies, how hackers can manipulate these cookies as well. And you will understand the importance of the cookies. You are accepting many websites is giving an option like accept the cookies, right? You accept the cookies, but you don't know what I can do with that cookies. And we are also going to use that cookie as an access manager guy, right? As access management people, we need to understand how this cookies will work. So it's very, very important. Okay. So first of all, the very first question, let's start from the very much scratch. Okay, let us delete these things. Let us start from the very much scratch. The first thing which I want to discuss about is cookies. Okay, this is not that biscuits or some kind of cookies, sweet cookies. Okay, cookies, internet cookies. Okay, or HTTP cookies. Let me take some image. Let me take a clip art. Okay, so this looks nice to me. Let me copy this free image and let us paste it here. So just try to understand this cookies. Very, very dangerous things. When you implement them, okay, and when you understand them, very you will understand the power of the cookies. So cookies was something which was developed, okay, by Netscape, one developer. He actually developed the cookies working on a project. Okay, these are some history. I'm not going there. I'm just directly come to the topic. Okay, so what are the cookies are? But cookies were always not there in the world of internet. It was like discovered by someone and it was so popular. Now everybody is using that. Okay, cookie is very much popular. So you know what cookie does? What is the cookie? What is a cookie? If I will define what is the cookie, because if you sit for an interview as well, because many are attending this training for a job preparation as well, so for them it's very important to have a notes on this particular topic. So what is cookie? Okay, so the cookie, right? A cookie is something which a small amount of data. Okay, cookie is nothing but a small amount of data that a website generate and saved on your browser. Let me write it, then I will explain. So a cookie is a small amount of data, okay, generated by a website, okay, and saved by your browser. Okay, so this is one simple definition of a cookie. Okay, so what is that? What I want to say. Let us take an example. Let me take a server. Let me take a server, any server image. Let's say this is a server. Okay, for a while, let me keep it far. So let's say this is a server, and This look nicer. So let's say this is a server, and let's say this is your browser, Firefox. Okay, let's say this browser I'm taking. Just try to understand. So what happens in real time when you hit any website? Let me take you to some website to make you understand. For example, I'm going to hit a website, okay, and that any website will ask you like you should accept, let's say, ktport dot will be I. Okay. So for example, this is a website, and in this particular website, if you go down here, you can see like this is a copyright thing. Okay, so we are not capturing any sort of cookie at this moment, okay, directly. Okay, but what happens if you go to any other website? Okay, let's say websites add use cookies. Okay, so for example, I can't see any website at this moment. I can't see. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me open Google. Nowadays I think they are also using google.com. Okay, it's not being asked, but if you try with some VPN or something, the Google will ask you to provide the cookie details. Okay, so what is that cookie? The cookie is very important. Let's try to understand. For example, there is a website, let's say www.facebook.com, for example, to make you understand. Or okay, Facebook, let it be facebook.com, or otherwise I can put ktport. So what happens when you try to log into this particular website? You provide your credentials, right? What happens when you try to open the facebook.com, they ask you a form. On this form you need to provide the credential. Okay, this is the form. There you are asked to provide your credential. Let me take this and put it here. So let's say this is a website. When you try to log into this particular website to your browser, it's, see, everything you open on the browser, right? Everything has been open on the browser. So on the browser level, it's asked to provide your particular credential. If you provide some credential, let's say blah 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 something, and hit login. Okay, if you try to provide some details and hit login, okay, Facebook will check these details on their backend server. If the details are correct, you are allowed. If details are not correct, it's not allowed. You can see it's checking. Okay, so these details are anyways not correct. Okay, so it will be anyway, it's a failure. Okay, so when you log into a website, when you provide your username, let's say I'm going to provide a username, let's say test at the rate facebook.com. Okay, and let's say I'm going to provide a password, let's say oracle123. So what happens when you provide these details and when you try to log in these details? What happens? The Facebook, any other server is actually using something called HTTP protocol. So HTTP protocols are stateless. What is meaning by this? HTTP protocols are stateless? Means it will not store by default any information about you. It's very strange, right? Let's say you went to a market. Let's say this. Okay, you went to a particular market and you purchased some stuffs. Let's say you. So you had taken these vegetables with you and back to the shopkeeper and told, boss, I just taken these vegetables from your shop, and this particular vegetables, okay, this set of vegetables are not for use. We can't eat that. Can you replace that? Immediately the shopkeeper will say who you are, because there are many customers, right? He can ask you, who are you? Okay. So you will say, don't you remember me? Don't you remember me? Okay, so let's say you told you don't remember me. I just for a minute ago I just purchased the things from here, and you saying you don't who you are. So that moment of time, right, the shopkeeper really don't remember you. Okay, let's say this let's say this, you lost the bill as well. Okay, so you can't claim that you are the same person who bought this particular set of vegetables few moment ago. So it's very hard, right? So this shopkeeper will not here to remember you. The same happens with the HTTP protocol. HTTP protocols are stateless, means by default http protocols will not remember your information. They will not store your information anywhere. Okay, so it will easily forget about you, who you are. Okay, so if you log into any server, let's say you given the username and password and log into the server, this server, since it's a HTTP protocol it's using, okay, so because of this reason this server will not store any your username credential, which browser you are using, from which country you are logging in. It not remember which country you are logging in. Okay, they don't know from which country you had been logged in. Okay, anything, none of the data has been stored because it's using HTTP server. So HTTP is a stateless and it don't know, it's never store your information about you. So hence it's very difficult to track the state of an application. Let's say a few moment back you just logged in, right? Let's say for my case, let's say, let me see if I had logged in Gmail or not, gmail.com, for example. So here you can see I had logged in a Gmail, right? If I will open a new tab, or let's say if I will open a YouTube, for an example. Okay, so if I had opened the YouTube, okay, you can see I had also logged in here. It's not saying who you are, it's not saying to me who you are every time. If I logged in once, the server is remembering my details. Okay, if I try to log in on the server another application, it's not asking me the details every time. So as I told, the servers are using HTTP protocol then, but HTTP protocol will not remember your details. Then how these servers are remembering your details? That's the question I have. I think this question is clear to you, right? Okay. So what happens in order to track your request? Okay, what happens in the case of Big Bazaar, or in case of mall? Okay, in case of any other, what you do, you show your loyalty card, right? The supermarket will give you one sort of card. Okay, that card, whenever you give the payment, you pay via this card and all the details of your payment are stored to their side. So if you will, now you paid with your card, you will come that and you will show them their card, your card, and based on your card information they will fetch out, okay, that particular person has purchased this thing and they can replace you. So you need something to be shown there, right? Means if you show the card, it's on that, based on that card they will fetch out the information. Means there is something which I am saying, you are using something so that they can remember you. So same way here in the server, when you give your username and password and your all details from where you are logging, all those things, okay, which is required, so that you will try to open, let's say from google.com you are jumping to the youtube.com or gmail.com, it will remember you, okay, who you were. It will not tell you who you are again every time. Okay, so in order to resolve this problem, in order to track the state of an application, where we are login when we log into a server, a session ID is generated actually. So whenever you given your details, let's try to understand. Whenever you given your details, what happens? All the details you pass from the browser, for example. So you had given all your details to this particular server. You had given all the details to this particular server, and when you provide all of your details to the server, okay, you provide your credentials, for example, what happens at the same moment of time, a session ID is generated. Okay, at the same moment of time one session ID is generated. Okay, on the server side. So on a server side one session ID is generated on the side of the server. Okay, let's try to understand. So on the server side one session ID is generated, let's say session ID, and let's say the ID is 234. The session ID has been generated, I'm just explaining in the layman. So a session ID is generated on the server side, okay, and it store the, actually it is stored in the cookie and send it to your browser. So this session ID, what we do, this is your cookie, this is your cookie. So what happens, we store this particular session id, and one cookie is also generated on the server side. Okay, so one cookie is generated and they will put this session id, they will put this session id here on a particular cookie. A cookie is also generated, a cookie is also generated. Okay, and this cookie, okay, with the session id, just keep this thing in mind, cookie is a wrap up. Okay, cookie is like a wrap up. So you can see this is a cookie which is a wrap up. Inside that we have session id, and there are many other things also present. So the session id is placed inside the cookie. Okay, and after that what will happen, this is stored in the cookie and it is sent to your browser back. It is again sent back to your browser. So it happens like this. Okay, it's sent back to your browser. Okay, so this session cookie, okay, this session encapsulated in a cookie, and the cookie is sent to your browser side. Okay, so this cookie is traveled, okay, it's traveling to this place, and the cookie is stored on a browser side. On the browser this cookie informations are stored. Now what happens, let's say you jump to the from facebook.com to the youtube.com, or let's say from not from facebook, from gmail.com to the youtube.com. Okay, so when you jump, let's say the server was gmail.com, let's say the server was www.gmail.com. So when you jump from the gmail.com, and now this time you are giving a direction, like you are saying to the server boss, I am done with the Gmail, I also want youtube.com, so www.youtube.com. Okay, so when you give us a signal to the youtube.com this time, see, you give the signal like this, you want to log in to the youtube.com. Okay, this time it happens like this. So when you send your request, this time it's just a normal request, you send, I want to open the cookie, I want to open the youtube.com. So what is the next step, it have to give you a challenge form. It have to give you a form where you have to provide the Gmail ID and password. This is the behavior of HTTP, but it will not do that, because when this time you are sending the details, okay, cookie is also being sent here. Okay, cookie is also being sent, and from the cookie it fetches the session information. Okay, so this is the session information. Let's say this is the session information. So from the cookie, what happens? The server fetches the session information. Okay, the server fetches the session information. Let me put it again. Okay, so from here, cookie, it will fetch the session information. You can see it will fetch the all information about your session. So it will fetch the session information from here, and based on this session information it will check the session is still valid or not on a session id. So this, if this session id is valid, okay, means this session id was given, this token was given to you, this session id was given to you when you were successfully given the credential, and it was a valid credential, and this is a proof of that, right? So if you have this session id with you, you have the session id with you, what will happen, it will directly redirect you to the youtube.com. So immediately it will redirect you to the youtube.com, means you don't need to log in again and again. Okay, you will redirect it here. Okay, so you are redirected because you have a session id with you and you have the cookies. But if you delete the cookies at your side, let's say you logged in and immediately you delete the cookie on your side, what will happen, inside that the session id is deleted, and the session id is deleted. So that moment of time, if you try to request again to the youtube.com, it will see there is no session id present. Okay, means it's a fresh login. And what is the state in the fresh login, what we need to do, we need to give a challenge form. So let me show you once to make you understand the example. Let's say this is, okay, this is the only I'm showing. Okay. Okay, let me log out. Let me open the browser here, application storage. Okay, so you can see what I'm going to do. Let me close it, open it again. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to clear all the cookies. Okay, I had cleared all the cookies, and let me reload this page. Okay, so first of all, let me clear the cookies. Control Shift Delete, clear the cookies, go to the storage, and you can see right now there is no cookie. What I'm going to do, I am going to reload this page, and you can see one session is created. Let me log in it. When I will log in it again, you can see one cookie is here. Okay, so I am here inside this. So let's say this cookie is present here. So that's why if I will go to any other option, let's say this is a Google gmail.com, I'm going to the YouTube, clicking here, and I'm successfully redirected. Okay, there is no question at all being asked to me. Okay, there is no question being asked to me. Let me do one thing. I will delete this cookie. Okay, I deleted this cookie, and let me reload this page. You can see I logged out, right? So what happened? What is the moral of the story? What you understand here? What is the moral of that particular story which we are learning? So the moral of the story is what happens when I logged in for the first time on the on OpenAM.com. Okay, I logged in for the first time on the OpenAM server. OpenAM server given me one token ID that was stored in a cookie and sent to my browser. So that's why I open another tabs in the OpenAM, let's say like youtube.com, google drive.com. So all are being opened. Suddenly what I did, I removed this cookie, means this token ID was removed. And this time I send the request again. What happens? Okay, I reload the page, means the request is again sending up here. This time there is no token ID, there is no proof you had logged in. It's forgot about your information. Okay, it only remember you with the help of token ID. So since you remove the cookie, you remove the token ID, and this time server don't know you, so it immediately give a challenge form like boss, authenticate yourself. Okay, so if this story is clear to you, if this story is clear to you, how the things are, how the things work, I don't think is that much, it's not like that much hard to understand. So let's note down few things here. So what is cookie? A cookie is a small amount of data that is generated by the website and saved to your browser. And it's very important, right? If it's not saved to your browser, okay, your server will forget you. So that's why what happens. Let me first write it, then I will explain again. So what is the purpose? What is the purpose of cookie? In one line, what is the purpose? So its purpose is very simple. Its purpose is to remember you. Okay, its purpose is to remember you, remember information about you, right? I given my username password. I got a session ID which was in cookie. I removed the cookie. Session ID was removed, and server forgot me. As simple as that. So until unless the cookie is there, they will understand. Okay, he was a person. He logged in few minutes back. Okay, and the most common purpose is to store login information for a specific site. Its most common purpose is to store login information for a specific site, right? So in our case the specific site was, let's say, im.example.com colon 8080 slash openam. That's a specific site. Okay, so this was one specific site which we are using. So it will store the login information. Okay, and that is not, username and password is not stored, don't worry. Based on the username and password, if it was valid, a token is generated that is stored, and that token is having the same power which your username and password has. Okay, but that token is only given until unless you will not provide the correct username and password. Okay, so its most common purpose is to store the information about the specific site. Okay, so I hope this information is clear to you. Okay, how, what are the cookie, how it works. Okay, so see, http is stateless, right? We just discussed http is stateless, and you have to understand about the http. http is stateless, means it not store information about us, so it will easily forget us. Simple, right? It will not store any information about you, so it will simply forget us. Hence, okay, in order to track the state of an application. So in order to track the state of an application, and when we log into a server, right? When we log into a server, when we log into a server, okay, a session ID is generated. A session ID is generated. Okay, a session ID is generated and it's stored in cookie and send to our browser. That's very, very important. Okay. So what happens? This session ID on cookie, if we clear, okay, session ID depend on cookie. What is the relation? This is important question. What is relation between cookie and session ID? Between cookie and session ID. In one line, what is the relation? Simple, right? You had seen session ID depends on the cookie. If we clear the cookie, session ID is also deleted. But if you clear the session, this doesn't mean the cookie will be deleted. Let's say you are in a website, okay? You are in a particular website, okay? Let me reload this page. Let me try to log in here, okay? And here I clicked on, see, this is, let me open an incognito and im.example.com, OpenAM. Let me show you. I am logging in here, am admin, login. This is private window. Go to not go to subscriber, go to this one, sessions. Let me do one thing. Let me go to subscriber realm. Okay. This time here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit subscribers. Okay. See, there is no data at all. Okay. The normal load, I will discuss this load balancer cookies. So I'm just going to give Navneet 21 Oracle 123. Okay. Just go to the sessions and just search for the user Navneet 21. No session found. Click on login. Okay, I'm not saving this detail. One cookie is generated. This cookie have session details. Okay, this cookie has session details within it. I went here and let me search for Navneet 21 again. There is a session. Okay, so there is two way to clear the session. You can log out, the session will be clear, or let's say I remove the session directly from here for this user, and let me reload it. Since I remove the session, the user, you can see, since I removed the session, you can see the user is now logged out, but you can see still cookie is here. Okay, still all cookies are present. Okay, all cookies are not deleted. So what I mean to say, the relation is, if you delete a cookie, session ID will 100% be deleted, but when you delete the session, it's not true. Okay, so session is dependent on cookie. Simple. So if we clear the cookie, the session is also deleted. Very simple, right? So also, if you close the browser also, session is also closed, but cookie still may remain. It happens, right? If you open, let's say this is this is, let's say, youtube.com. Okay, so I already cleared the cookie. So you can see on my youtube.com, I'm not logged in anymore. Let me log in it now. So you can see I logged in now. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to close the browser. Okay, so I close the browser. Let me open the browser and let me type youtube.com. I'm still logged in. Why I'm still logged in here? You can see I'm still logged in here because the reason is very simple. The reason is simple. My cookie is still present. So if you close the browser, session is closed, but cookie is still there. Okay, that particular session is closed, but cookie is still there. So this is a one important point which we understand. So the thing is also, if you close the browser. So this is a small this topic, at least we are writing some notes. Generally we not write much notes, right? Most things are practical, but at least you should take these notes, okay? So because these are very basics and it's asked if you're new to it, okay? So if you close the browser, what happens? The session is also closes. The session is also closed, but the cookies still may remain in browser, and until, so see, until you not kill the cookie, means clear the cookie, or until a lifetime is reached. Each cookie have its lifetime. So until it not reaches its lifetime. Okay. So this is basic information about cookies. Okay. I hope you guys are clear. Let me revise again one in 1 minute all the things whatever we had learned so far. Cookie. Cookie is very small amount of data which is generated by your web server and placed on your browser. Okay, this is one important thing, whatever we had learned. Okay, so cookie is a small data which is like generated by the server and stored in your browser. Okay, so its most important purpose is to store the login information for a specific site. And since HTTP is stateless, that's why the cookie concept was introduced. Okay, so that server will remember you by some other way. Okay, server generally not remember you, but it can remember you with the help of cookie. So in order to track your application state, we log into a server and a session ID is generated, and that is stored in a cookie and sent to your browser. Okay, so that will help you to again re-authenticate yourself. Okay, it's not ask again same details. So what is the relation between you can say here cookie and session ID? So session ID is dependent. When you clear the cookie, session is deleted. When you clear the session is deleted means you clear the session, still cookie will be there. Okay, so if you close the browser, that also closes the session. Okay, if you clear the cookie, that also closes the session. Okay, so but the cookies still remain in your browser until it's not reach a lifetime. So this is a basic information about the cookie. Now I can see like few people are having a question and asking me like how I can see that window which you had just opened in Firefox. So Firefox is I like the Firefox for cookie analysis is best browser. Okay, that's why it's already been installed in your machines. Okay, so just press what you need to press. Let's say control button, flip art. Let me show you. So control, what you need to press? You need to press control. You need to press shift. Okay, and you need to press C. Okay, you need to press these three combinations. So control plus shift plus C. When you press all them together, this window will appear. So first of all, let me clear all the cookies, and I'm going to press control shift and C. So when I will press control shift and C, the very first thing, see, if you put the mouse pointer here and there in the website, it will show this unnecessary mark. We have to come to the store. Okay, so you should not put the things here. Okay, you should directly put the point on the storage. Okay, when you come to the storage, it will say what is the cookie status. You can see there is no cookie at all. Even you open, let's say youtube.com. Okay, you can see these many cookies are generated for the youtube.com. If I will sign in, let me sign in quickly. So when I hit sign in, it's redirecting to the Gmail, and you can see the cookie, one more cookie apart from the YouTube, one more cookie has been for is added is going to be added for the Gmail account. Okay, so when I will give them details, right now there are two cookies you can see. Okay, so automatically the Google cookie is cleared and I redirected to the YouTube cookie, and you can see these many additional details are added. Okay, if I will close the session, let me close the session. I had closed the session, and here, and you can see again all those session related details has been deleted, but still some cookies are there. Okay, so this is a very important thing which you need to understand. Okay, I'm going to now clear all the cookies. Okay, Control Shift Delete, clear all cookie and hit reload. Okay, so you can see some new cookies has been added. If you open new session, press Control Shift C, click on the storage, and you can see the since session is gone, cookies are means the things are gone. Means I close the browser, that window, all the cookies and all those things are done, means gone. So this is one information. Okay, this is one important information which you need to understand. This is some basics about cookie. Okay, if you want to open this, you have to press Control Shift C button. Control Shift C will allow you to open this particular window. Now let's talk about the different kinds of cookie available, okay, in here. Okay, so what are the different kind of cookie available in case of OpenAM? Let's talk about this. Types of OpenAM cookies. Okay, let's talk about this. So types of cookies. So in OpenAM, let me show you live itself. Let me type im.example.com colon 8080 slash OpenAM. When I will hit enter, you will see the first cookie which is generated. You can see what happened. im.example.com. Oh, come on, it's 6060. Okay, you can see the first cookie which is generated is load balancer cookie, am load balancer cookie. So the first cookie which is generated is called load balancer cookie. Okay, it's called am access manager load balancer. Okay, access manager load balancer cookie. So what this cookie tells us, just try to understand what this cookie is and what it tells us. The load balancer cookie tells you a lot of information. Like, let's say right now we are not using load balancer environment, right? But what happens in case of load balancer? Let's say this is a load balancer. Okay, and let's say this is a user. Let me take one user. Okay, this is a user, and this user is trying to log in to the access manager. Just understand the use case. This user is trying to access the access manager, okay, from the load balancer. So we have multiple server, access manager server. Let's say this is first server, this is the second server, and this is the third server. Anyway, we will understand this clustering thing, okay, how to cluster OpenAM, okay, in upcoming sessions. So you can see, let's say these are the three servers present. Let's say this server have some server ID, because each server is having some ID, right? By using that you can understand which server is being used. So let's say it's having server ID 1. Okay, this is having server ID 2, and this is having server ID 3. So what happens, load balancer do what? Whenever the request come, it will see which server having the less load. So whatever the server having the less load, that particular server is being called. So let's say it's found this particular server having the less load, so it's redirected the user for this particular server. Okay, so when the user seen, okay, the user is redirected to this server, this server, this access manager server will give him login details like this. This access manager server will give him the login details like this. Let me show you. Okay, so this kind of login form has been given to this particular user. Okay, this kind of this, let me delete. Okay, so this kind of login form is given to the user, and who given this login form? This particular server generated this login form for this user. User will fill this form, and again the login will be done. Still there is no session id has been generated because still user has not been logged in. It's a normal cookie. So what is load balancer cookie? Load balancer cookie is generated at this page. Okay, what this cookie will tell you, this cookie will tell you like the user is going to use this particular server for the login process. So here you will come, you can see the value is 01, means this means the server id is 01. Since in our case we only have one server, so that's why load balancer cookie is saying the user is going to use, if you enlarge it a bit, user is going to use, okay, the server id which is 01. What is the domain user is trying to log in? The user is trying to use a domain called im.example.com. Okay, and what is the path? Okay, so it's also explaining what is the path. So it's using root realm. Okay, so here you will see the details of the realm as well. Okay, so user is going to use the root realm. Okay, so this is the information about your few basic information about we can see. Okay, so here it's saying user is going to use root realm. Okay, user is going to use a domain this, and still session is present. Okay, so these are some basic information you can see is present over here. Okay, so these are some basic information. Okay, so I hope like you are able to read that load balancer cookie. So this is the first type of cookie which is present here, which is called load balancer cookie. So what the purpose of this cookie? If you had worked, the people will ask, what is the purpose of this cookie? The cookie tracks the instance which is accessed in the case of load balancer. So what it does, this cookie tracks the instance accessed in case of load balancer. Okay. So guys, you should not think like why I'm not using PPT and all. These are the old style of teaching, and I really don't need PPTs to teach the thing, because these things I don't think I need the help of PPTs to explain. Okay, so PPT we don't have. Okay, we don't use PPT, and I really myself personally hate PPTs. Okay, I just love the diagrams which explain a lot, and I just love writing whatever on the runtime. Okay, so I don't have any PPTs. So this cookie will trace the instance access in the case of load balancing. Okay, so all the load balancing detail is present in this cookie. The second most important cookie where you have to focus, this can lead to the security breach in the organization. Okay, this cookie is so important, you have to completely focus on that, is called iPlanet. Okay, iPlanet Directory Pro. This is the most important cookie in the case of OpenAM. Okay, you have to very much uh, like you have to take care while using this cookie, because this is the master cookie. Okay, when you log into the OpenAM, when the session ID is generated, let's say I'm just going to log into the OpenAM AM admin and the password. So when I will hit login, what will happen? When I will hit login, the credential will be sent to the AM server. AM server will check it's valid or not. If it's valid, it will generate a token, and that token will be kept in a cookie, and the cookie will be sent to the browser. That cookie is called iPlanet Directory Pro cookie in our case. So this cookie refers the OpenAM session. So if I will log in, okay, automatically this cookie should create it. Okay, so here I can see, let if it's not doing, just close it, press Control Shift C again, and go to the storage. You will see this cookie is generated. Okay, let me show you again. I will close the browser. I will first close the things, control shift delete all cookies. Okay, when you delete all cookies, and after this closing the browser, I will show it again. Okay, do it and press Control Shift C, click on storage. Okay, typing im.example.com colon 6060 slash openam. You can see the first cookie generated, load balancer, ID is 1. I'm going to give AM admin and I'm going to log in. So you can see on live the cookie is generated, and this is iPlanet Directory Pro cookie, and this cookie is having a value. This is nothing but it's having the session ID. Okay, so this is the iPlanet Directory Pro cookie, and if you just copy it and paste to a notepad, it look like something this. Okay, So it look like something this. Okay, so this is iPlanet Directory Pro cookie, and it's a very, 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 very important cookie. Okay, you need to understand this cookie. Okay, so this cookie, again, how to read this cookie, like how to understand what this cookie is explaining. So if you want to read this particular cookie, you can read it like this. See, so whatever the value before star and whatever value from star to star, they represent something. Okay, they are going to represent something. That value before star is called SSO token. If I will copy this, let me take it here and paste it here. Okay, so this value and this value. Okay, just try to understand. So this particular value which you can see here, this is one set of value before dot, and after dot there is a one set of value. So this particular value which you can see over here, okay, this is called SSO token, which is called SSO token. Okay, and this value which you can see over here, this is called session key. Okay, so this is the important thing. This is how you look. So you know the value of the iPlanet cookie. Okay, the value of a iPlanet cookie, okay, iPlanet Directory Pro cookie is nothing but equal to the SSO token ID. Okay, so because what happens, there is a formula SSO token ID, token ID equals to SSO token plus session key. So if you add SSO token with the session key, if you add in this formula SSO token, if you add, okay, concatenate that string with the session key, whatever is generated is called SSO token ID. But the same thing is also, see, it's what is that? The same thing is also here, whatever we had copied, the same thing, okay, is also, the same thing is also called what? The value of iPlanet Directory Pro cookie, right? So that's why from this relation we can say, okay, boss, SSO token ID is also same as value of iPlanet Directory Pro cookie. Okay, so on this relation we can say that the value of SSO token is same as the value of iPlanet Directory Pro cookie. Okay, so this is one thing. Now let us try to understand again in depth this iPlanet Directory Pro cookie, because iPlanet Directory Pro cookie is very, very important. I am completely focusing on this cookie. So let us understand iPlanet Directory Pro. So what is iPlanet Directory Pro cookie? So when you log into the OpenAM, this cookie is generated. So this cookie refers the OpenAM session, right? All the session details are present in this cookie. If you delete this cookie, you have already seen, right, the session is also deleted, so you should not delete this particular cookie. Okay, so this information we had informed. So if you log out and the session is destroyed, so this cookie is also destroyed. So this particular cookie is directly proportionate with the session. If session is destroyed, this cookie is destroyed. If this cookie is destroyed, session is destroyed. But still this cookie is not destroyed. So that's why I told, if you delete a cookie, session will 100% will go. But in vice versa is not true always. Okay. So this is one information we understood about cookie. Now let me start one activity. Okay, we are going to start one activity. Okay, so this is an important activity to understand how this session cookie actually works. Just try to understand. Do one thing. This is your cookie. Copy it. Open notepad plus plus and here paste this. So I just pasted this cookie over here. So what you did, you just copy the value of iPlanet cookie and you pasted it. Then what I'm going to do, okay, what I'm going to do, see, what is the importance of this cookie? This cookie takes all the information about the session. Let's say I am a hacker. Let's say how hacker works. Let's say I am a hacker, and what I did, Okay, I am a hacker, and I steal this particular cookie from your browser. This because this cookie is present on your browser, right? This cookie is present on the browser. You logged in and you went for a coffee break. Okay, that's why in industry it's on like switch off your computer power, not switch off, lock your computer before you go for tea and coffee, right? How many things I can do? Because in your computer, let's say you already have logged into the facebook.com, and that cookie of the when you log into the facebook.com, that particular cookie I am going to steal. So why I was saying in the beginning of the class, why it's so dangerous. Okay, so I steal this particular cookie. Let's say I steal this particular cookie here, and now you can see I copied this to the pen drive, for example, and I've taken this to my computer, the computer where I used to sit. Now see how I can like use this cookie in order to destroy your life. Just try to understand. In meanwhile, do one thing. This is imexample.com. I copied your cookie. If you just go to the session, okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just this is let me do it again. Okay, or let me do it with a different user. Let me control shift delete, clear the cache and cookie, log in again. Okay, come on, what happened? Is it not cleared? Okay, I am trying with some user because root I don't want to test on the root, rather I want to test on the normal user. I am opening a new private window. Here I am typing im.example.com OpenAM. Here I am logging as a root. Okay. Right now, see. So here, right on the root realm, do we have some user? We have a demo user, right? I will go to the session, search for demo user. You can see there is no session. Now let us say a demo is going to log in. Just try to understand how I can hack his whole session. Press Control Shift C. Okay, go to the storage, only load balancer cookie is there. Now log in as demo. Let's say demo is my colleague and his information, and he log into some facebook.com, and I want to use his Facebook in my computer. How I will do that? And I let's say he's a super admin in my organization, and I want his access for a moment, and I want to give myself let's say he is my manager, and I will approve my leaves using his credential. See how I can rope that. Just try to understand. Very much you should take your focus completely here. So demo is my manager, let's say for example, and he is logged in. I went to his PC, I steal his things. Okay, so I steal his details. Okay, I steal his cookie. Now what I am going to do, since I had stealed his information, just try to see. Also at the same moment of time, okay, you can see now user demo is logged in, my manager is logged in, and he is enjoying his life. Now see how we can hamper his life. Okay, now let us open a second browser. I think we need one more browser for this testing. Let me download Chrome. Maybe you guys don't have Chrome. Let me download it now. Let me download Chrome. Let's say this is my personal computer. Let me set up the Chrome now. So I will give you the exact feeling. Let's say I am going to my machine. Okay. So there in my machine, I don't have Firefox or something. I have a Chrome. I'm I'm done. I'm here on my Chrome. This is my machine, right? I'm going to this website. Okay, what I'm going to do, im.example.com, like facebook.com or the company's website, 6060/OpenAM, the same website I'm opening here. Okay, 6060. Okay, so here it is. Okay, here it is, the browser. Okay, so also you can do one thing. You can do one thing. Let me open IAM. Let me first log in here like normal. What is that? IAM admin. IAM admin. because adding cookie, deleting cookie is simple in Firefox. And here this AM admin session I'm going to close. Here go to the realm, go to the sessions. Come on, where it is? It's not here. Go to the realm and go to the sessions. It's demo. So my manager is logged in, right? I will do it in Firefox, okay, in incognito. So I just robbed his details and I just went to im.example.com 6060 OpenAM and I press enter now. Okay, I press Control Shift C here, go to the storage and see. Right now this is the blank page, okay, and this is my manager. Okay, let it be. This is my manager where he went. Yeah, so his cookie, right? We had copied. Let me copy it. And what I will do, I will simply add this cookie to my browser. I copied his cookie, right? I will click on plus. Okay, so here if you are not getting again, you just close this, press Control Shift C again, go to storage, and you can see it's added. So a norm means you can dummy cookie is added. So on this dummy cookie, you need to replace the data. What I'm going to put planet I planet directory pro. Okay, what is the value? The value I copied and pasted. It's im.example.com. Okay, and the path will be root. Okay, same. So these details I had filled. Now what I'm going to do when you fill these details, okay? When you fill this particular details, just reload this page and boom, here I am. Here is my manager's, everything has been opened. Means I have the access. He's enjoying the coffee and I put my resignation. Means my manager put my resignation like he dropped an email to his manager by saying something wrong or bad things. Okay, and now he can lose his job. Why I'm speaking like this, why I'm speaking so rude at this moment, because all people are not good in organization. You can't trust them, guys, believe me. As a tech lead and manager, okay, I will explain you the things. My employee can hurt me, right? Everybody in organization are not same. Okay, maybe they could hurt you in another way, in some other way. So how they can hurt you, right? You can see they can copy this iPlanet cookie from your PC. Just for a minute you had given your system to them, and that's it. You are done with that. You are done with your job. Okay, like that kind of situation may occur. So how dangerous this iPlanet cookie is, if you go here and click on demo, okay, you can say session is there. If let's say this is my manager is here, he's my manager, this is not incognito. Okay, let's say he closes the session. Okay, you can see I'm still here in his session. Okay, let me search again, demo. See, I'm still here. Though manager logged out, he went home, but I have his full access. Don't you feel it so scary? If you logged out your system in your office and you went home, you are still logged in. Okay, you are logged in means somebody is using the details, and who is somebody is showing there, it's you only, right? On the session I can maximum see it's you. So it's very dangerous, right? We need to harden this security in real time. We need to, as an access manager developer, you need to harden this security so that nobody can take this data and can use it. Okay, you need to wrap up this iPlanet cookie in such a way like nobody will understand which is iPlanet cookie. By name itself, you can see they will understand this is iPlanet cookie, but you should wrap it up. This is called hardening of the cookies, and it's one of the important, most important thing we can do. But this class, I'm not going to do. These are some advanced topic we will learn at the last of the course. Okay, but guys, I think my agenda was clear today. My agenda to explain you the cookies, how powerful they could be, right? That's why we should always clear the cookies in our browser. Though we are logged into any other websites, which we don't trust. You should never take their cookies on your browser. You don't even know if the cookie is generated on the server side, the server is there only, right? So if they get your cookies access, they have their everything. If your friend have your browser for a moment and got the cookie access, he have his everything. He can use everything from your machine as you. Very dangerous they are, especially the iPlanet Directory Pro cookie. So that's why I explained you in that much depth. Let me take one example. I had created this pic by myself. Uh, Copy. Let me go here and paste it. Let us try to understand here. So what happened with my manager? Why he's gone? Okay, so what he did, it's not a manager, it could be anybody, okay, in the organization, okay, to whom and this cookie can goes in the bad people hand, right? So if he can give let's say Oracle or demo user details, immediately one iPlanet Pro cookie is created. When the iPlanet Pro cookie is created, this cookie is copied to your web browser and you are logged in as this particular user. So if I will somehow, your login is equivalent to this cookie. If I will copy this cookie with me and take to some another browser, the browser I will add this cookie. So browser will send request to the server. Server don't know. Server will see the guy have the token. Server will give you the access. That's it, right? Let's say you have, it happens, right? In especially it happens, I seen in many country, the employer not go office, they give their ID card to their friends and told just boss go office and swipe in and swipe out, so swipe out my ID card so that the attendance will be given to me. Okay, some companies are like that as well, and some employees are that well. So on the gate, the security guard will not check whose ID card is this. They will check you have the ID card, they will allow. So how dangerous security breaches can happen if somebody get access to this iPlanet Directory Pro cookie? So we have to harden this. But at this moment of time, are you guys clear what is cookie, how to analyze cookie, how to add cookie, how to delete cookie, how to take advantage of the cookie, okay, how to like do the security breaches on the cookie? Now how to prevent, that's another thing. But till here, if anybody have any questions, can go ahead and ask me. Is it clear? Guys, please respond. Is it clear? Okay, so it's clear for everyone. So this is how cookie knowledge is the minimal base which we need before protecting our website. Because if you don't know cookies, how you are going to protect your website properly, right? So in order to protect your website properly, okay, means there should be a website, some cookie knowledge is required, because we are going to see how cookie work, where there we are going to analyze the cookie. Because in case of OpenAM, there is a third cookie as well, and that third cookie is called am auth jwt cookie. Okay, jwt cookie. So this authentication jwt cookie is also created for a reason. Okay, when it is created, when you are protecting your applications, okay, using when you are trying to protect your application using some details, okay, using some uh, am agents, that time this cookie will come into the picture. Don't worry, don't scare. I don't want to make you guys scare about the upcoming topics, okay? But I want to say you what is the next part of the movie you are going to see. You are going to see how to protect a website, okay? There is a website, that website is running on some XYZ server. You are sitting on your example.com server. From here, your access manager will protect that website. What is mean by protection? I will explain, but for a moment understand what is protection. If a website is protected, it will ask username and password. Okay, so if that website don't have a feature, there are many website, when you create on some old programming languages, there you can't enforce authentication authorization. So let's say that website is like google.com, right? When you hit google.com, it's directly open, right? You don't need to provide any credential to open google.com. But for gmail.com, you need to provide. Gmail is protected, Google is not. So how to protect that google.com? That's the case, okay? How to protect that website so that if you try to hit it directly, you will not hit that, okay? So it will ask you to provide some credential, and then a set of people will only be able to understand. Apart from this, how to analyze the JWT cookies, session token, okay, SSO tokens, everything we are going to learn in the next class. Okay, so there are many things to learn. Don't worry, there are still so many things. Okay, we have to learn. Okay, apart from this, there are more protection we have to learn. What about any application which is deployed on a Java application server like WebLogic, right? A application could deploy on a WebLogic, application could deploy on a Tomcat. This Java application, J2EE application server, how to protect them? Okay, so the all those things will you will able to understand and correlate in depth until this much base is clear with you. So I had given from my side, I given a very good base to you. So just revise all those things, please, once again before going to the coming to the next class. Okay, because that is important. On next class, you will understand it properly. So let me close, guys, this session. Let me close this session over here. It's a very nice session. Okay, till here, it's good to have like class with you. Okay, it's a pleasure, right? So let us meet on the next class.